Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talking Politics, your weekly show on Bronx politics and more. I am your host, Robert Press. I write for the Bronx Chronicle, as you can see by my official New York City press card. I also contribute to the Bronx Chronicle, to the Co-op City News and the Parkchester Times. I wasn't ready for your with my disclosure. The latter, like this show, the Parkchester Times is part of Muslim media. I also have a blog at 100%.blogspot.com, Facebook pages 100% and What is Going On in Your Community board. The views expressed on this show, like you just saw one of the comments, by me, any guest, or like I said, commentators that you may see scroll across the bottom of your screen are not necessarily those of Muslim media. We're going to quickly go to the weather today for the Yankees home opener. If the field hasn't been split apart by the earthquake, the temperature should get past 50 on a raw, slightly windy day. Tomorrow it gets up to 54 on Saturday. Sunday is 57. And for Monday's solar eclipse, it will be bright and sunny most of the day, getting up to 64%. As I mentioned before about Yankee Stadium breaking apart, if you didn't feel it, at 10:23 a.m., a 4.8 magnitude earthquake originated 2 miles from Tewksbury, New Jersey. It was felt here in the Bronx for about 10 to 15 seconds. I know in my building, I felt the building shake, but there seems to be no significant damage that is expected. The last earthquake in the city occurred on January 2nd of this year. A 1.7 magnitude quake was felt in Roosevelt Island and the surrounding area of Queens. Earthquakes of less than 2.45 magnitude are really not felt unless it happens under where you are. An earthquake is caused by the sudden shift of the plate on a fault. The tectonic plates or underground rocks move against each other. Right now, Mayor Adams is holding a briefing with senior administration officials to discuss the earthquake felt in the greater New York area. Check my blog for his statement, but wait a minute. I have his statement right here. As you can see, he says at approximately, Mayor Adams texts me, he says at approximately 10:23 a.m., New York City felt the impact of a 4.8 magnitude earthquake. The epicenter was in Lebanon, New Jersey, about 50 miles from New York City. Our first responders are working to make sure New Yorkers are safe. At this point, we do not have any reports of major impacts or injuries. I encourage all New Yorkers to check on your loved ones, and if you feel an aftershock, drop to the floor, cover your head and neck, and take cover under a solid piece of furniture next to an interior wall or in a doorway. So far, no major life safety issues are reported, no reported infrastructure issues, but we will continue our inspections of our critical infrastructure. Thank you, Mayor Eric Adams. Now, let me get on to the primary day that we had on Tuesday and who were the winners, as if we didn't know. The State Board of Elections reported more than 100,000 New Yorkers took place in early voting, which ended March 30th. New York City had more than half of that. Here in the Bronx, only 6,335 people voted. The results on early vote on Tuesday, I should say, was that the President Joe Biden won the Democratic nod with 91.53% of the vote. But when we look at the statewide estimates, it's estimated that Joe Biden only received 79% of the vote because 12% of the vote or more was counted as blank ballots from the blank ballot movement. Others received 9% of the vote. So in actuality, Biden did not get 92% of the vote. He got 79% of the vote. On the Republican side, Donald Trump won with a comfortable margin of 86.3% of the recorded vote. And it is estimated that only 5% of Democrats voted, while 6% of the Republicans voted. Now, New York City Board of Elections said they spent about $25 million on this primary alone, and the city has another primary in June, and then the November general election where all the poll sites will be open. Now, moving on to Donald Trump again. He posted the $175 million bond, while in his other case here, the judge extended the Trump's gag order. Now, I have a little piece here that says, okay, it's about Attorney General Letitia James was not happy that Donald Trump was able to post this bond, but life is as it is, and we'll see what Letitia James does next. The update on the Francis Scott Key Bridge that fell down last week, I guess if it was here in New York, it might have fell down now during this earthquake, but there is a new shipping lane that was opened up for ships to enter, but it's not known how long it'll take to reopen the bridge. As far as news coming in from the Gaza Strip, the death toll has surpassed 33,000, according to the Enclave's health ministry. Another 75,000 people are reported injured. The Israeli military said at least 256 soldiers have been killed since the ground invasion of Gaza. The World Kitchen has called for an independent investigation into the Israeli military strikes that killed 7 of its aid workers in Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has halted leave for all combat units and drafted reservists to boost aerial defenses in fear of an escalation with Iran. The move comes as Iran's supreme leader vowed revenge after and said that Israel will be slapped for a strike on Tehran's consulate building in Syria that killed senior military commanders. Israel has committed to opening up the Ashdod port at the Ezra crossing for aid into Gaza. That's by Egypt, a U.S. National Security Council UN spokesman. Meanwhile, President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. Biden urged Netanyahu to empower his negotiation team to make a deal on the hostage releases, as an immediate ceasefire is essential to protect civilian life, and said Israel must implement steps to address civilian harm and humanitarian suffering and the safety of aid workers. Let's move on to another item here. The New York State budget, which was due on April 1st, was extended to April 4th. Now it has been extended to April 8th. New York lawmakers gave themselves more time to negotiate the state budget by voting yes to temporarily extend the ballot for the final spending plan, ensuring that the National Guard and other state employees like their selves and their aides get paid. Thursday extension bumps the due date for a final spending plan to April 8th, as I said, but the lawmakers will be back on either Sunday or Monday to push yet for another deadline advance to ensure that the state workers continue to get paid. A spokesman for both the State Assembly and Senate said. Hochul said the state legislature agreed to continue funding state government at last year's budget levels through Monday as they continue to negotiate the budget that was due this past Sunday. Last year, lawmakers blew past the deadline line by almost a month. It's largely because of disagreements over changes to the state's bail law and ambitious plan to create new housing. That was last year. So who knows what the holdup is this year. Lawmakers also and cannabis industry leaders want to pass a bill that would permit the revocation of a business's tobacco, liquor, and lottery licenses if it sells illicit cannabis. Now, last night, the Republicans held the New York State Republican Gala here in New York City. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was the honored speaker, and Mayor Eric Adams offered a sarcastic helping hand to Texas Governor Abbott during his stay in the city, saying the Republican governor could sleep in a migrant shelter so he can see what he has created. Now, meanwhile, there's been an accusation about the Buffalo Bills Dallas Cowboys game in December of 2023 that the New York Post reported Governor Kathy Hochul and other top Democrats were accused of turning a luxury suite at the Buffalo Bills Stadium into a private party during a marquee game last year. Hochul, Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, and Majority Leader Crystal People Stokes took over the VIP luxury suite for the game, December 17th game against the Cowboys, with a guest list that included a lobbyist Hasty has been tied to romantically, according to a complaint filed with the state's ethics watchdog. It is clear that public officials secured the benefit of the use of the box and tickets for themselves, for the guests, and a private benefit and or non-governmental business, said lawyer David Grandu in a March 28th letter to the New York State Commission on Ethics and Lobbying in Government. Grandu, who formerly served as the state's chief regulator on the lobbying industry, added, they clearly abused their power to generate a valuable perk for themselves and the lobbyists that accompanied them that were not available to everyday New York citizens and taxpayers. Rebecca Lamarte was listed in a state report as self-employed, not a lobbyist, and it was later revealed by New York Focus that she was dating Speaker Carl Hasty. Also, Hochul's husband, William Hochul, a former top administrator with the Buffalo Bills concessionaire Delaware North, was also in the state's cozy I Love New York suite controlled by the Empire State Development Corporation as a guest of the governor. The Economic Development Agency reports to the governor, Buffalo native Hochul, a diehard Bills fan, while Hasty is from the Bronx, is a Cowboys fan. Hochul said in a statement on X, suggesting that Hasty's presence in the suite had more to do with their Bills-Cowboy rivalry than any other business. As Buffalonians, Crystal People-Stokes, who represents Buffalo, and I believe in tolerance for those with opposing opinions, that's why we decided to allow a certain Dallas Cowboy fan to join us at the Buffalo Bills game. And Governor Hochul said of Hasty, he wore a Cowboys jacket and cap. Sorry about the score, Carl. Let's go Buffalo, as the governor crowed of the Bills' 31-10 victory. The state's panel on ethics and lobbying acknowledged Grando's complaint. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. The Commission Investigations Division said the 16 suites VIP suite is run by the ESD to help boost or promote New York's economy. Hochul insisted she did everything by the book. It's reported that Hasty's office declined comment, and Hasty's office requested the suite, according to ESD, honored as a courtesy, said ESD spokesman Matthew Groton. All guests were notified of the rules regarding lobbyist attendance and public reporting requirements in advance of the game, the spokesman added. It's also been reported that the governor and others contributed certain amounts of money to charities, which is one of the requirements. Now, Governor Hochul went to the Long Island wake of the New York City police officer, Jonathan Diller, where she was confronted by a family member who said, his blood is on your hands. We don't want you here. If you want to do something, change the bail laws. Hochul understands, she said, why the family is outraged, but she added that nobody asked her to leave. As for the city council budget fight with the mayor, the city council has come up with $6.15 billion in newly available resources through fiscal year 2025 that they want to restore things to the budget. At the same time, the council budget says that they have other monies, $1.63 billion for restoration of funding for 3K public schools and support for students, as well as libraries, 7-day service, parks, sanitation services, and other key services cut by the administration. The city has the resources to protect essential investments in New Yorkers while safeguarding our physical health and prioritizing both goals as a path to a safer, healthier, and more stable city, said Speaker Adrian Adams. Now, on to the New York City crime figures. New York City and NYPD announced crime stats for the March first quarter of 2024. It was said that overall crime in the transit system plummeted 23.5% in March, an achievement directly attributed to 1,000 additional officers by the NYPD that they surged into the subways each day, and another 800 NYPD officers recently deployed as part of Operation Fair Play, focused on enforcing fare evasion. Since the start of 2024, overall arrests in the subway system are up almost 53% compared to last year, including an 83% increase in gun arrests. Now, that's Last year, they only made 12 gun arrests. This year, they made 22. So that's the high increase. A nearly 80% jump in fare evasion arrests. It was 1,038 last year compared to 1,864 for the same period now. And 24.1 hike in grand larcenies, 87 compared to 108 now. The above ground shooting incidents in March 2024 compared to March 2023 were reduced by 25.9%. There were 63 compared to 85 last year, and there were 29 fewer shooting victims, 71 to 100 this year, 29% decrease. 358 people were arrested for possession of an illegal firearm, a 7.5% increase. Shooting incidents were down 18%, which was 222 last week to 181 this quarter, meaning 56 fewer people were shot in New York City since the start of the year. In March 2024 compared to March of 2023, murder was down 19.4%. It was 36 last year to 29 this year, a drop of 7. However, rape is up 12%. There were 132 in March of 2023. There were 148 this year so far in March of 2024, an increase of 16. Robbery was the same number, 1,264, both years, for March of 2023 and 2024. Felonious assault is up 5.5%, an increase of 118 over March 2023. Burglary was dropped of 17.4%, or 212 less. Grand larceny supposedly was down 7%, 293 less, but we couldn't tell that here in the Bronx, while grand larceny auto was down 11%, or 127 cars stolen less in March of 2024 than 2023, for a total change of 5% drop in crime, 505 less total crimes in March of 2024, or 9,644 compared to 10,149 in March of 2023.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.
Okay, welcome back to my show. Before I bring on my guest, Dion Powell, I'm sorry if I want to continue with the crime rates. I'm going to run over a few minutes on the show. But comparing the first quarter of 2023 to 2024, in New York City, crime was down 2.4%, or 711 less crimes. However, here in the Bronx, crime was up 3.3%, or 223 more crimes. Grand larceny was up here in the Bronx. Felonious assault was up here in the Bronx. Robbery was up here in the Bronx. And rape was up here in the Bronx, compared to New York City, where the numbers were down. And all 3 of the 9 precincts in the Bronx, crime was down: the 41st, the 43rd, and the 44th. In the 9 other precincts in the Bronx, crime was up, with the 49th precinct again leading the way with a crime rate that was up 27.41% in the first quarter of 2024. Now, I think that this is being purposely done because of the Metro North news stations. You're driving up crime, so people move away. Developers can buy these houses at a very cheap rate. But let me bring on my guest, Dion Powell, who I see waiting here in the green room there. Or Mr. Powell, how are you? I don't hear you, Dion.
Well, that was hard to get through.
But my issue is crime. And then we had the earthquake. Are you okay from the earthquake?
Yeah, pretty much so. I wish I had an earthquake to wake me up from this, 20-minute dialogue of yours?
Well, I used to be with Dion Powell and Anthony Ravecchio on an hour show for the three of us. So actually, a half hour for myself alone is a little more. So now, Dion, you were a member of the Bronx Democratic Party. You were a county committee member, but I understand that you are no longer a member of the Democratic Party and you are no longer a county committee member. So what are you doing nowadays, Dion?
I'm glad you asked. Hi, everybody. What I'm doing now is I am a district leader for the Bronx Conservative Party in the 78th Assembly District. Now, as you can see below, that's my title, but unfortunately, I still have District Leader Darnay Caborn Rivers organization still linked to this account. And here I am.
Okay, so what have you been doing this petition season? I mean, I understand that the Bronx Conservative Party has some candidates that are running. Can you tell us who they are?
Well, let's see. For Congress, we have Mr. Gonzalo Duran.
And who are they running against, though?
Wow, man, you're asking the tough questions today. I'm very impressed. Well, Gonzalo Duran is running against incumbent Richie Torres. And me, on paper, I'm running against State Senator Gustavo Rivera. We have Kevin Pazismo. He's running against Jeffrey Dinowitz.
Jeffrey Dinowitz. Wow, that means Kevin has a chance to win.
Well, if Dion, the friendly neighborhood consultant, has anything to say about it, then yes. Once he's on the ballot, I'm trying to cut a deal with, Teachers for Choice and other fired workers for not taking the jab like you to actually take this guy down.
Well, Jeffrey Assemblyman Dinowitz has been going down. He used to get about 85%. Now he's down into the high 60s in vote getting.
But if you check openseas.org, he takes big pharma money in order to push these vaccines and mandates and gender hormone therapy, which is something I'm working on right now.
Also, that free Henry Hudson Bridge toll for what he thought was going to be Riverdale residents in his district has turned out for all Bronx residents, and people are now complaining about the extra cars on the local streets as well as the Henry Hudson Parkway. So he's getting a little flack for that, for his vote to approve congestion pricing. So Kevin may want to use that yes, my opponent voted for congestion pricing. Any comments on congestion pricing, Dion?
Oh, a real question. Okay, so basically, congestion pricing is almost a decade in the making, if not more so. It's going to be the Democrats' fault, not the Republicans, who's been screaming about this forever. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but more importantly, to see how people are going to do some car fare evasion, because this is not a car-friendly city, especially when it comes to parking.
As for the schools, the 9 schools that Kevin mentioned, I believe that Borough President Gibson said we're getting at least one. I forgot what the other question was, Mr. Producer, if you can put up AJ's question again.
We only have 2 minutes left to listen to press.
No. We're going to run. Okay, why is Bronx Week coming back to Marshall Parkway, he asked. Well, Bronx Week was taken away from Marshall Parkway because in case anyone who doesn't know Marshall Parkway, it was a 4-lane road. It was a beautiful road. The Bronx Day Parade was always on there every year. However, it was divided in half for a bike lane. And and stanchions were put in that would have to be taken up for the parade. However, it seems like Borough President Gibson has worked something out with the Department of Transportation where they can use Marshall Parkway again for the Bronx Day Parade, the food festival, and music concert. It is yet to see how it's going to be worked out, and we'll see that on Bronx Day when the parade occurs. Now, you were starting to talk about some of your candidates. Give us some of your local assembly candidates, and I understand you're running for a position also.
State Senate is what I'm running for. And right now we have Mr. Emmanuel Finley, who's running and back in the game, by the way, against Chantel Jackson. We have Mr. Darnay Caborn Rivers. He's going to be running against
George Alvarez, I believe. 78th.
No, he's running against Udoka Tapia, I believe.
Oh, yeah, 86. Pardon me. They're right on the border of each other, so I get them mixed up.
Right, me too. And we have a whole list of candidates that I didn't prepare to speak on today. So let's bring up the ledger, shall we? Bring up the ledger.
I believe, wait a minute. I believe, who are you running against now?
Me?
Yeah.
I said I was running against Jose Gustavo Rivera, okay?
Oh, you mean Gustavo Rivera, who has no opponent on the Democratic line, I believe.
Yes.
Now, who is running in the 80th Assembly District against John Sicaro Jr.?
I believe it was, I think, Grace. Oh, Kevin Deloy is here. Wow.
See, Kevin, we got it right before you put it up, Kevin, right before it was put up.
Can't wait to steamroll your bike lanes, buddy. We need more parking. Sorry.
So I can read your mind, Kevin. And I hope you were safe during the earthquake, Kevin. You didn't ride into any holes that opened up in the streets or anything. So I hope you were safe. And what is the platform of the Conservative Party right now?
Right now, we're just getting our message and brand out there. And we're also re-registering and educating people, just like in the 13th City Council District, to our party, disgruntled Democrats, fed up Republicans, and independents as well, to come over to our party line. Our end game is to become the official swing voting bloc of the Bronx.
And in a November election, a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent can vote on the Conservative Party line as well as any other party line. Now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to run for president, but he's going to have a problem because he has to get extra amount of signatures. Is the Conservative Party backing Robert F. Kennedy Jr., or will they go with Donald Trump here in New York? Do you know?
Well, in case you didn't notice, Dion has been going viral lately, trying to get Trump to the Bronx on Newsmax twice with Kara Krasnova, who has a lawsuit now against the Republican Party of New York State running for United States Senate. I used to be a consultant for the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Super PAC, American Values 2024. And having said all that, so one of the things I tried to do was get the team to partner with Diane Sayre, who's also an independent United States candidate, who did the work last cycle against Chuck Schumer, collecting over 45,000 signatures against Chuck Schumer to be on the ballot 3 times. And also, she had the wherewithal with her team informing her that Lee Zeldin has some fraudulent petition signatures for the Independence Party line and got him knocked off. So I'm down with Diane Sayre. Hopefully, the Kennedy people are smart. They would team up with her on the slate to get on the ballot for president. Now,
Jumaane Williams was one of more than a dozen people arrested at a protest outside the Midtown offices of the Real Estate Board of New York amid a last-minute push by Albany legislators to secure a housing deal. Were you down there with Jumaane? Did you get arrested, or was this just a publicity ploy?
Publicity point, and I try never to get arrested in life for anything. Protests are not my style. I'm more of run people for office, and that's what we're doing now for change.
Any comment on the MTA's effort to try and squeeze a $750,000 toll from the organizers of the New York City Marathon, who said that we're going to be losing that much money from the Venezuela Narrows Bridge, which Governor Hochul shot down? Any comment on that?
My comment is this. A swipe on a Metro card is $2.90. And any money you can squeeze out of anybody else would be great. But this money is mismanaged. So even if they squeeze out of them, just like the Department of Education, it's going to be going through the cracks and into other people's pockets. It doesn't help us.
And finally, the New York City Department of Investigation is probing billions of dollars in the Adams administration spent to manage the migrant crisis. And they're bringing in KPMG, one of the world's biggest accounting firms, to look at New York City spending on migrant crisis since the spring of 2022. There's been a lack of transparency in more than $7.6 billion in contracts already in place. And certain vendors face particular scrutiny over their prices and treatment of migrants. This has been said by City Controller Brad Lander. Would you like to comment on how the city has spent its money on the migrant crisis?
I love it. It's a payday, just like the COVID, PPE, and all that great stuff, then a lockdown, shutdown. This is a payday. I just wish our black mayor would have helped the black businesses who did all the MWB runaround paperwork for all those wonderful services, women, LGBT, disabled, local owned businesses, to get a big, if not all, the black businesses that money. But, you know, when you vote black because you look black, sometimes it bites back like this.
Do you think that Mayor Eric Adams will be re-elected comes next year?
No, but one thing I will say, Joe Biden, the DNC, and the rest of the team, Eric Adams better pray that they don't call on Obama to give him the kiss of death, just like Judas, the way he did to former Governor David Patterson. Because once Obama calls Mr. Eric Adams into the office, it's over.
And there's talk of Councilman Raphael Salamanca challenging current borough president Vanessa Gibson. Any opinion on what that race might look like?
This is why you got to retain Dion at nyconsultant.us, shameless plug, because in my political spectrum and paranoia, I think Vanessa is going to be going up against Assemblywoman Jennifer Rashkumar, who both were in the Bronx at the IFTAR event in Coop City last night, because they're both, I believe, going to run for public advocate. That way Salamanca could ease on in to the borough president's office. That's my
Yes, but everybody thought that of former borough president Ruben Diaz. He was going to run for mayor. He was going to run for controller. The public advocate has about 1/3 less the jobs that the borough president has. So it's a step down, really. And if you remember, both Jumaane Williams, Bill de Blasio, and even our Attorney General, Letitia James, were council members who became public advocate, not borough presidents. Now, I want to go to a couple of upcoming events. Today is Friday, April 5th. The Bronx Muslim Center is having a food giveaway at 2 p.m. at the Bronx Muslim Center on Rhinelander Avenue off of White Plains Road. 5:30 p.m., Bronx Borough President Gibson is having her Greek Heritage Celebration at the Greek Orthodox Church, located at 3245 Kingsbridge Avenue in Kingsbridge. Saturday, there is a Veterans Breakfast at the Morris Park Community Association, located at 1824 Bronxdale Avenue, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. At 11 a.m., there are a couple of events. Councilwoman Amanda Farias is hosting an orchard show at the Bronx Botanical Gardens on Southern Boulevard. Also at 11 a.m., Assemblyman John Sicaro is having an Easter egg hunt across from the 52nd Precinct on Webster Avenue. At 12:30 p.m., Assemblyman Sicaro is having a cannabis smokeout at the corner of White Plains and Leidig Avenue, where a smoke shop was robbed at gunpoint this past Tuesday night. Now, I wonder if the local councilwoman will be there because she's also fighting the smoke shops. It appears that at the smokeout in Pelham by Assemblywoman Raj Kumar that Mr. Powell mentioned from Queens, along with Assemblyman Benedetto from the Pelham area, because Councilwoman Christy Maramato is from there. And I asked Assemblyman Benedetto, gee, how come Councilwoman Christy Maramato, the local councilwoman, isn't here? And his answer was by Assemblyman Benedetto, she wasn't invited. Okay, so I hope Assemblyman John Sicaro invites Councilwoman in, because the smokeout is also in Councilwoman Maramato's district. Okay, she covers the area where more than one assembly person is. And lastly, Tuesday night, April 9th, the monthly Pelham Parkway Neighborhood Association meeting is at 7 p.m. at Bronx House, located at 990 Pelham Parkway South. Two very interesting invited guests, the Bronx Parks Commissioner and an expert from the ASPCA. And one more, Wednesday, April 10th, the following night, is the Morris Park Community Association, 7:30 p.m. at 1824 Bronxdale Avenue, where the guests will be Vanessa Gibson, our Bronx Borough President. I want to thank you for watching and hope you continue to watch, and I hope everybody is okay from the earthquake. Now, the Lotto, the Powerball jackpot is $1.2 million tonight. Did you buy your ticket, Dion?
No, I have not. I'm going to have to download my Jack Pocket app to get the discounts.
I have my ticket. I may buy another ticket. So if you do not see me here on Talking Politics next week, I will be out there counting my money. But please join us next week here on Talking Politics, because we have as good a chance of winning the lotto as getting, as the Powerball as getting hit by lightning, and even 10 times as much. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, AJ, for your comments. And thank you, Dion, for coming on the show. But most of all, thank you for watching our show.